The following podcast contains alcohol-enhanced conversations about alcohol, as well as the potential for the discussion about topics of dubious, disturbing, possibly offensive, but usually hilarious interest. The opinions stated herein are solely of the persons making them, and any endorsement of these opinions by any other party is not implied. Foul language is likely, but intolerant viewpoints are not. Listener intoxication is advised. Hello and welcome to episode 40 of the Fully Vaccinated Whiskey Tangent Podcast. I'm Scott.
And I'm Ed.
And as you know by now, when the episode number ends in a 0 or 5, we'll be serving, tasting, and comparing some delicious whiskey cocktails. But this time, we're doing something a bit more exciting.
Oh, yeah.
Longtime listeners will recall that we named our very first cocktail episode, episode 5, Cocktail Kombat with the K, like the classic video game Mortal Kombat, in which we made and compared the Old Fashioned, the Manhattan, and the Boulevardier. But that was more of an elaborate tasting than any actual contest. So today, we're doubling down on that idea and staging a bona fide cooking show competition-style face-off between not only me and Ed, but also our co-host on that initial cocktail episode, Gabe, the Whiskey Sherpa.
Hello.
And best of all, serving as cocktail judge, jury, and executioner, the one, the only master mixologist, Anders.
Abandon all hope, ye who enter here.
Oh, damn.
No pressure.
We are not worthy.
Little
No
Dante's
pressure.
Inferno going on there. Jesus, going back to my English major days, having flashbacks.
Oh, my God. So highbrow today for what's going to be nothing but locker room humor in about 5 minutes.
Right. So get out your coolest cocktail glasses, belly up to the bar, and maybe have that activated charcoal ready just in case of accidental poisoning, because this is Cocktail Kombat. And now Ed's here to tell us how it's all going to work.
Right. So what we're going to be doing here is we're all going to do our version of the old fashioned and let Anders critique and taste it. He'll tell us how he's going to do that. Then we're going to go to the Manhattan, the other classic one that we talked about on episode 5. And then for the third entry of the day, we're each going to pull out a surprise wildcard cocktail to try to catch Anders' eye in admiration to take this contest home. I'm hoping that one of the winners could be featured possibly at the lounge as a summer drink if it measures up. So there's always that graduation prize if we can impress the Lord of the Lounge, the principal, the judge and jury, the executioner, Anders.
I will feature the winning cocktail as
Oh,
summer
nice.
drink.
Wow. Awesome.
A lot of faith in us.
There's a lot of pressure. Holy shit. So, Anders, how are you thinking about scoring this?
So, I have a rubric for how I will be scoring the drinks. Everything will be scored out of 10 and have a multiplier based on its importance. Okay. So for the palate, there'll be a 4 times the multiplier. Okay. For the nose, there will be a 3. Presentation will have a 2. And there's an X factor for a 1. Gotcha. Totaling 100 points.
Gotcha. Anders has also prepared a quizzy in which I will participate for the very first time.
Perhaps the last.
And perhaps the
survive.
last.
When you start looking at it, there's a lot of variations to old fashions and Manhattans that you don't even realize.
Countless.
And then when you start looking for, well, what whiskey drinks are out there, there's hundreds. So it was funny. I was halfway through planning my surprise drink and realized it was a Vucare. I was like, wait a minute, this sounds really good and familiar. And
this is delicious. Oh, God damn it.
I'm like, Anders made this for me, so that would be a bad move to give him his own drink back.
Yeah.
My goal is to not make any drink Anders has ever made me, because
right,
I can't make what he did to me better than what I give to him.
I know. It's like telling your professor he's wrong. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it, Anders. We're not going to argue with you.
I mean, Gabe might, but we're not going to.
Gabe might. I'll argue with Gabe. Gabe and I already had it out on Facebook Messenger earlier.
Yeah, we've been talking trash for literally 2 weeks.
Talking trash, yeah.
Right. It's been keeping me up at the middle of the night.
I have one question. Did the check clear?
I can neither confirm nor
Okay, I'll take that
deny
for
these,
what it is.
allegations.
All right. So we're going to take a break. The three of us are going to make our old fashions, present them to Anders, come back on air, and then the competition will begin. Okay, so we're back. Ed, Gabe, and I have made our individual spins on the old-fashioned, and Anders has been smelling and tasting and making notes, scribbling down in his notebook, and he said that he's going to take it in the order that we presented them to him. Gabe was first, then me, then Ed. So, Gabe, what did you make?
I made an old-fashioned.
Like the fucking show said, Scott.
Well, I used the Willet's Estate Rye, the 108.8.
Yeah, the Family Estate Rye. Nice.
Yes. I used a basic old-fashioned recipe, which is, simple syrup, water, bitters, garnished it with a orange peel, rimmed the glass, and orange slice and a cherry as a garnish.
Yes.
All over ice.
All right.
So, Gabe, I really enjoy the presentation of your drink. I really like the glassware, the amount of ice used. I like the orange as well. You've also done like a bit of an orange, like rose with a cherry. Gabe is the only person who incorporated a cherry into their old fashioned, which is interesting because traditionally, how I learned, I did not incorporate cherry into old fashioned, but I've since kind of brought it back into the fold with Luxardo cherry.
Yeah.
Gabe is also elected to put a sliver of orange in as well. I thought that was really beautiful in terms of the drink. Overall, I gave you a 6 out of 10 on the presentation. I'm judging everybody very, very harshly. About as critically as I would.
Please do.
Wow. I'm terrified if Gabe got a 6 out of 10. My presentation is ass.
I think I make a very pretty looking drink. So for 6 out of 10, I'm a little taken aback just a bit.
It is a very pretty looking drink.
So with that, I gave a 4 on the nose.
4 on the nose.
My main criticism of the drink is that there is too much orange. You use this beautiful rye in that Willet Family Estate Rye, but it's hiding behind all of this citrus to the degree where I feel like you're losing something. And I found that as a criticism as well on the palate. With that, I gave Gabe an 8 overall on the X Factor. I think it's a beautiful looking drink.
Wow.
My main criticism is I feel like it gets blown up by the orange. So overall, Gabe gets a 52.
52. What was the taste?
The taste was a 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10. All right, so drink number 2, which is mine.
Drink number 2. Tell me a little bit more about the drink, Scott.
So the other thing on that skewer with the oranges is a piece of candied ginger, which is the other flavor in this old-fashioned. So I started with a regular old-fashioned. I used old Overholt Bottled-in-Bond Rye, which we discovered earlier today had a really good sweet orange flavor to it. So I thought would work really well in this. It's sort of a serendipity. I had originally wanted to use Bulleit Rye. So I used the old Overholt. I used 3/4 of an ounce of ginger syrup that I created myself, slices of ginger cooked on the stove with equal parts sugar and water. And I used 3 dashes of Angostura orange bitters. And I used 3 dashes because I felt like the drink was very sweet. So I wanted to cut down a little bit of that sweetness. And that's why I also put it on that ice globe to melt, a little water into it. And of course, the candied ginger and the orange peel garnish. And I call it the ginger orange old fashioned, otherwise known as the G.O.O.F. G.O.O.F.
That's an amazing name. So, Scott, first in terms of the presentation, I gave you a 7 out of 10, and especially with slivers of Caracara oranges and the ginger as well, and the pick. I also give you a 7 out of 10 in terms of the nose as well.
Wow, thank you.
I really like that addition of ginger, kind of gives like a little bit of a pop. I gave you a 6 out of 10 on the palate overall.
Okay.
I still feel like it's a bit too sweet.
Yeah, that was my fear.
I actually think, based on the amount of alkalinity, I would have gone with 1 dash of Angostura and a couple of dashes of orange bitters as well.
Okay.
This also
too much orange.
There's also a little bit too much orange in this one as well.
Yeah.
Your X Factor was a 7 out of 10. So overall, you have a 66.
All right. Cool. Thank you, Master Hunters.
I have spoken.
All right, Ed's up next.
Paper towel, please.
Oh, yeah, so Ed cut himself.
When I was making the drink, slicing a lemon peel for the garnish, I kept going and garnished my finger with the peeler.
So there's a little bit of people in there, Anders, for you.
There is.
If Anders is a vampire, then it might help him. Anders is a vampire.
Well, Ed's has a bit of a coppery taste.
Despite all my rage, I'm still just
a rat in a
Nicolas Cage.
cage.
What?
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
All right.
All right.
Let's circle over to Ed's drink.
All right, so Master Anders, what I did for my old fashioned was I used 2.5 ounces of the Pikesville 110 proof straight rye from Heaven Hill, half an ounce of the Saint Germain elderflower liqueur, 2 to 3 dashes of Picard bitters.
Peychaud.
Peychaud, yeah, you know I'm not going to say it right. And then the ever costly strip of lemon zest for garnish. Put them into a shaker on ice, 1 or 2 drops of lemon juice actually in it without ice because I didn't want to water it down.
So, Ed, my friend.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to tell you what I thought about your drink. I loved it.
Oh, did you really?
I did.
I was so nervous.
In terms of presentation, I give you a 7. I really like the simplicity. I gave you some points off for not using ice, but I think it still works. I feel like with the lemon peel, you could have actually just cut the lemon peel a little bit more thinly. There's a little bit of pith on here, like the white part of the...
Anders is pithed off.
So it's got this
enticing
really
idea.
intriguing shape, but it also like kind of overtakes the drink a little bit.
I want to make a recommendation for a garnish. Just a wedge of grapefruit.
I'm getting critiqued right now. You
I'm just saying.
All right, well, wait till we...
I have...
You know, it's stressful.
This
Oh,
is a
you're saying for
compliment.
this drink.
For this drink.
Oh, in the future.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'll take that
I
under
think
advisement. I thought
actually-
you meant in general, like grapefruit would be great. I'm like...
No.
Like,
For your drink in particular.
Actually,
okay.
I agree with Scott.
See, Ed.
My secret technique for making grapefruit flavor without using grapefruit, you have 2 of the 4 ingredients in there.
Yeah. That really tastes like that.
Actually, 2 or 3 of them, and then one of them you don't like, so we'll leave that out together.
Campari.
So the nose was a little bit bare. I think that's mostly because of the Peychaud's bitters. So I gave you a 6 for the nose. For the palate, actually, I give you an 8.
Ooh, nice.
And lastly, for the X Factor,
A 2, sorry.
I give you an 8 as well.
Oh, damn it.
Wow.
So, as of right now, Ed is in the lead with a 72. Scott, you have a 66. And
right.
Gabe, you have a 52.
this is like a Quizkey where I'm going to win the first round, and then this avalanche is going to take me on. And remember, I'm doing this while I'm losing blood. I'm getting weaker by the moment. My finger is still bleeding.
I liked all 3 of these drinks. I think they all had a little bit different taste to them. They all had a little tweak.
Yeah.
Ed's, you used a little bit of lemon, and it's. I'm not going to say it was too much. It brought a different taste to it, but maybe the suggestion of a grapefruit.
Yeah, the
slice.
elderflower is very sweet, Gabe. I was trying to just get a drop or 2 or something to counter it to make it go, oh, okay, there's something else going on.
In terms of some criticisms, it is a little bit lighter bodied, similar to Gabe's as well. It's also a little bit boozy. With the extra half an ounce, just in terms of working at the local, I rarely do a drink with 2.5 because then I have to deal with 2.5 ounces of drunk people, and that's what I gauge and deal with. A good part of making drinks, you have to understand your audience.
Yeah.
Sure.
Although I think Ed was understanding his audience because his audience was him. So he likes really boozy
and
cocktails.
I know Anders doesn't mind high proof cocktails either. So
I don't either, but
Yeah,
it's
true.
a tricky balance, So I think this is a really elegant drink for this time of year. I think all of them are actually in their own way. I really like floral notes with this, along with the rye as well.
We all use ryes.
Yes, you all use
Interestingly.
rye,
Yeah.
so good on you for that, knowing your audience. I really like the ginger. I actually had a whiskey drink with elderflower, ginger, and rye.
Make an infinity bottle with mine and Ed's.
I thought
Years ago.
Scott, that your ginger would have been a nice addition to mine. I thought that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I just stopped
so-
drinking all of these.
Yeah, I know.
They're all
Right,
so good.
You have 6 more drinks to taste.
It's a good problem to have. So before we break and do the next drink, we're going to have a round of Quizkey, which Anders has prepared. So Anders,
For this game of Quizkey, the questions will be based around bartender, and cocktail knowledge. Like most Quizkeys, 3 rounds with one final question. The first round will have 5 questions. The second round will have 5 questions. The last will have 3.
Right.
And then there will be one final open-ended question where you have the opportunity to bet all of your points to find the winner. In terms of the point breakdown, the first person to buzz in and answer correctly will have 100, then 200, and then 300 points. Second person, if they get that correct, will be 50, 100, and 150. And then the third person will have plus or minus 25, 50, and 75.
There we go.
Right.
So, round 1. Question 1. In the Savoy cocktail book, there is a measurement used in terms of mixing drinks that is 1 gill. How much is 1 gill? Is it A, 1.5 ounces, B, 2 ounces, C, 3 ounces, or D, 4 ounces? Ed.
1.5 ounces?
It's incorrect. Scott.
B, 2 ounces.
2 ounces is incorrect.
Oh, fuck me.
I'll go C.
3 ounces is incorrect.
Oh, damn.
So what is the ounce then? What is it?
D, 4 ounces.
Wow.
It is a quarter of a pint.
It's a hell of a drink. They drank for real back then. You had to be a man.
Yeah. That sounds like half of Ed's drink.
I should have got that.
Ed has 2 gills. Give me 2 gills.
Question 2. Several of the cocktail bars and speakeasies in the lower Manhattan area have business fronts in order to hide what they truly are inside. One of these bars is the famous Employees Only from the documentary Hey Bartender.
These are hard.
What is the front of Employees Only? Is it A, a hot dog stand, B, a massage parlor, C, a fortune teller, or D, a telephone? Ed?
See, fortune teller.
C is correct.
Oh, C is correct. Nice.
The best part is I'm 125 over Gabe. That's all I care about.
All right. Question 3. Which of these rye whiskeys was popularized by the resurgence of New York City cocktail bars? Was it A, Bulleit Rye, B, Rittenhouse Rye, C, Wild Turkey 101 Rye, or D, Old Overholt? Scott.
D, Old Overholt.
Old Overholt is incorrect.
Oh, damn it.
Ed.
B, Rittenhouse Rye.
B is correct.
Oh, motherfucker.
Question 4. Absinthe has certain accoutrements, such as spoons and fountains.
Yes.
What is the proper name for these absinthe accoutrements? Is it A, absinthiana, B, absintheware, C, absinthium, D, absinthillary? Gabe.
D.
Absinthillary is incorrect.
Oh.
Ed.
B.
Absintheware is incorrect.
Oh.
Scott.
I'll go with A, absinthiana.
Absinthiana is correct.
Yay! I get 25.
That's on the board.
Pull it out of your ass.
Woo! The other one sounded like a periodic table of the elements.
seriously.
Absinthium.
I made
that.
all of the other ones up.
You did so well, dude. You did so well.
Yeah, that's good.
I thought your answer was it, though.
Yeah, I did too.
It sounded good.
If I was first, that's what I was going to pick.
All right. Last question. Question number 5. The Hemingway daiquiri owes its name to the inventor, Ernest Hemingway, who created the drink after realizing that he was pre-diabetic. It adds both grapefruit juice and substitutes the simple syrup for one ingredient. Is it A, orange juice, B, maraschino liqueur, C, triple sec, or D, none of the above? Scott.
Triple sec. C.
Triple sec is incorrect.
Damn it!
Gabe.
I'm going to go maraschino.
Maraschino is correct.
Oh! Boom. Gabe gets a 50.
So give us the scores after round 1.
We've got leading the pack is Ed with 150, followed by tie at 25 between Gabe and Scott.
Oh, baby.
Right.
So
That's what I have
Just
too. All right.
keeping Ed confident.
So as soon as Gabe gets 1 right next round, I'm losing to him.
Essentially, yes.
Are you going to come over and bleed on me?
So the,
Bleed on me.
When
You're not strong.
And I'll be your friend.
Oh, God. So I'm not getting about that. I just changed my mind. Okay, so let's take a break. We're going to make our Manhattans, and then Anders is going to come back and see if anybody can win that round. I did happen to win the old-fashioned round. All right, Manhattan time.
So we are back. We have made the Manhattans, and Anders, once again, is busy smelling, tasting, comparing, judging, executioning,
Tearing down, building up.
going, what the fuck did they do?
Trying not to rip our hearts out too painfully.
Right. Trying to be nice because we're all friends here.
For now.
Till the fisticuffs begin.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, I'm stunned by how tremendously different all three expressions of this Manhattan.
Absolutely.
They are completely different drinks.
They don't taste like the same drink at all.
It really speaks to either how far off course we are or how diverse you can be when you approach cocktails.
Sure. So, Anders, are we doing the same thing? The first person who handed it in is first, et cetera, et cetera?
This order will be Scott, followed by Gabe, and then Ed.
All right, so mine, just to describe what it was, my Frankenstein.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear
mindfuck.
what you did because yours doesn't look like any Manhattan I've ever seen.
So I had a theme for the drinks for tonight for myself. The thing that I enjoy most in food and in drink is spiciness. As you guys know, I'm a big fan of rye, but I'm also a big fan of spicy foods. So the first one had ginger in it, which is a very unique citrusy spice flavor. The second drink, I incorporated a warmer spice, cinnamon, something that I really enjoy. So once again, I made a cinnamon syrup, 2 ounces of Bulleit Rye. Bulleit Rye is my go-to whiskey for making Manhattans.
Right.
Cocchi di Torino, I have a half an ounce of Cocchi di Torino in there. My new go-to vermouth for Manhattans, the cinnamon syrup. As I said, I poured it into a glass that had an absinthe rinse. Mm-hmm. I dipped the rim in absinthe and then dipped it in cinnamon sugar and served it up in a martini glass.
That's the taste I couldn't get. The absence on the rim is what I couldn't figure out what the hell I was dealing with. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that was very distinctive. I couldn't place it either. It was putting me in the mind of like a Christmassy cinnamon, sugar.
Yeah.
It put me in a holiday mood.
Yeah, and the absinthe was because Anders was here. The four of us actually were here doing the deep dive, and the absinthe was a part of the original Manhattan. So that was, I wanted to definitely have absinthe in there. The cinnamon was just a spin on it. So I'm calling this the Abs-Cinn-Minded Professor.
Oh, wow, there you go.
Hey, yo!
But Manhattan, right? You have to end
It's
that.
a Manhattan, yes.
So it's an Absinthe-Minded Professor.
Manhattan. He's at NYU.
Yeah, that absinthe really it really brings a little something to it. It's really different.
Thank you.
Do you know during exams at NYU at the library, they put a net up after the 4th floor because people are known to jump?
Oh, wow.
Is that a true story?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a
Absinthe.
7th floor.
Oh, my God.
All right. So,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
I really enjoyed this Manhattan.
Oh,
I thought this was like a very adventurous take.
definitely out
It
of
was a
my...
risk. You took a risk.
I definitely took a risk on this.
That contrast between the cinnamon sugar and the absinthe really catches up in the nose, and you do get a fair amount of the Bulleit Rye. I feel like that's a good sweet spot. I might have gone a little bit higher in proof for the whiskey, but overall, you still get some floral notes from the rye, but the absinthe and the cinnamon are very strong scents, and they really read through on the nose. I gave you an 8.
Oh, thank you.
I gave you an 8 for presentation as well. I like the simplicity and the elegance of it. Beautiful looking Manhattan. I did dock a point for not incorporating a cherryness element to it.
Yeah, I felt like the cherry would be a little bit sweetness and putting it in the wrong direction that I wanted it to go. Yeah, I agree that it might need like a lemon peel or something. I couldn't decide on what kind of fruit garnish I wanted to put
in terms
in it.
of garnishing, it's really interesting because there's this phrase where people first start drinking with their eyes. And that's sometimes true, but I think there's certain elements of the mind that you also need to play with in terms of making drinks. Expectations, both playing with them and playing to them and against them. and, elements of surprise.
That's kind of why I didn't put a cinnamon stick in it, because I didn't want it to be obvious that you're going to be having cinnamon. I wanted to taste it and smell it and go, oh, there's cinnamon in this.
I like the rim around the glass. If I was going to put this on, I would actually do this as a fall drink.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is
that'd
definitely
definitely
a fall
be the
drink.
direction.
Yeah, that's definitely where it leads to.
You have some great body on here.
Yeah.
So I gave you an 8 for the presentation, the nose and the palate, and a 7 for the X factor. So let me do some math. So almost 8s across the board.
Wow, it's scored really well. Considering it's not really even a Manhattan in my opinion. Say shade.
So Scott, you have got a 79.
Ooh, a 79. Ooh, high score.
So far.
True.
Gabe.
Gabe is next.
All these are delicious drinks.
Oh, the way you just said that, I'm not really
Oh, no.
expecting much.
I also really enjoyed your Manhattan as well. Tell me about it a little bit.
Well, I used the Smokewagon base expression, which is like a 92.5, and I used a Cinzano sweet vermouth. Mm-hmm. Basically, it was a 4 to about 1.5 mix, couple dashes of bitters, and the cherry is the basic maraschino. But I wanted a simple, fine Manhattan, and see where we went from there.
I really appreciated that. I also really prefer bourbon in my Manhattans, as I've often said. And traditionally, they're with rye. I prefer bourbon. I think it makes a little bit more sense. So thank you for giving me what I want. So, Gabe, I gave you a 7 in terms of the presentation. I also gave you a 7 for the nose, and I gave you an 8 for the palate, and a 7 for the X factor. So I give you a 74.
Ooh, 74.
Nice.
Okay,
Score.
all right. Thank you.
It's a heck of a jump between rounds, Gabe.
Yeah,
Good for you.
yeah, absolutely.
And you made a good
Thank
drink,
you,
Gabe.
sir.
I enjoyed yours, Gabe. I did.
Yeah, no, it was
yours
very
was
nice.
much more traditional. When I was drinking yours, I was thinking, oh, here's a Manhattan. And I honestly didn't feel that way with Scott's, but I understand Scott took a risk and took his drink in a different direction. I mean, that could appear under like a specialty menu. It kind of stands alone. You made. I've never seen anything like what you made, Scott.
Yeah.
It was good. It was borderline poofy, but it was...
Yeah, it was a little cunty, but besides that, it was delicious.
No, but it's
No, it was a good drink. I'm just teasing.
It's a drink you would enjoy, like walking through the park in the fall with a
nice.
I love
cinnamon.
walking around with drinks in public in the fall.
Yeah, and I like that was a risk. That was a risk too. So not even putting the cinnamon and combining with the absinthe and the regular Manhattan flavors that we all know and love, but also that we are sitting here at the threshold of summer and that I made a fall drink.
Right.
But I think honestly, a Manhattan kind of is a fall drink. It's an all year drink, but it's dark flavors.
Yeah.
It's the dark cherry.
It's the seasoning of life.
Falling of the dead leaves.
Right.
In my experience, my family drinks
Mass
them
killings.
all summer long. But what's funny is it's a night drink in summer. So during the day, we drink rum drinks, we drink gin and tonics, and then after dinner, we make a pitcher of Manhattans.
Yeah.
Wow, good point.
Pictures of Manhattans.
Yeah, well,
Nothing wrong with
when there's
pitchers of
four-
Manhattans.
There's 4 people drinking them, you got to make a lot.
Okay, so Ed's.
It's good.
All
I
right,
really
yes,
dig it.
Ed.
So I've always had a problem with the way that my Manhattan finishes. So I decided to come from a completely different angle this time. And I did an orange Manhattan. I had 2 ounces of Rossville Union. It's 112 proof. I did 2 ounces of that. I did about 3/4 of an ounce of sweet vermouth. I also used the Cocchi di Torino because it's my favorite right now. And then I added, as my twist, a 1/4 ounce of Grand Marnier liqueur. With that, I added, to keep it in the orange theme, a thinly sliced orange wedge, an orange peel, and then a Luxardo cherry.
All right. I also thoroughly enjoyed this drink as well. My one criticism of it is that I would actually flip the orange. You have both an orange peel and an orange slice. I would put the orange slice on top of the orange peel so it's not dripping into the actual drink. So it's going to give a little bit more orange juice to it.
Gabe had the thumbs down behind Anders' back. It's like behind the teacher's back. Thumbs down.
Children,
that shade.
Children, behave.
No, I have to listen.
The master is speaking.
It's so accurate because I was feeling like a fish out of water. I didn't know which one would do more damage to the cocktail as far as whether the peel would be more orangey or the orange. So
Right.
this is where we learn. you know?
Yeah.
Be bold. This
Yeah.
is a good Manhattan. So it's a good balance of the orange. It's not overpowering. You can still get the booze. I think that makes sense with the selection of the Rossville.
Yeah.
You still get all of the components and nothing's getting washed out.
I will say my original was going to be Old Ezra, number 7, and it was coming up a little too sweet for me because of Grand Marnier, which is why I switched to rye on Friday when I was practicing. The Rossville is a very dry finishing.
Yes.
Rye.
The dry finish plus the Grand Marnier is a good balance between the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice balance. It really is. The Grand Marnier really settles it into like a comfortable feel in your mouth.
Yeah, the first time I did it, Gabe, I used too much, because that's how my nature is. And then and that's the thing I think what people don't understand about cocktails. Proportion is fucking everything.
Oh,
Everything.
absolutely.
Like when I cut that back to just under a quarter, not even quarter ounce, just under a quarter ounce, I felt a perfect balance.
This for you does taste like how I know that you like your drinks. Honestly, for me, this is too sweet. This is too sweet for me, and it's no shade on the drink itself because I think it's a fine Manhattan.
So I think it's a particular kind of sweetness.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah.
Yours is kind of sweet.
Your Manhattan's pretty sweet
It
as
is.
well, but it's more of like a nutty sweetness,
Yeah.
and he is more of a citrusy sweetness. So
Right,
it's like,
right.
what kind of sweetness would you prefer? Like Nutter Butters, or would you prefer like orange slice
candy.
slice candies?
Yeah.
So it's like
We talked about that last time.
poison. And like that's important to know, like what kind of sweetness you're going for.
So how they do?
All right, so Ed, I gave you a 73. 6 in the X Factor, a 7 in terms of presentation, 7 in terms of the nose, and 8 in terms of the palate. You all got 8s on the palate. You all made wonderfully tasty drinks. So,
Yay, us.
adding that on to the first round, Gabe, your total amount of points so far is 126, and Scott, you have 145. Ed, you are tied with Scott at 145.
Ooh.
So that's a massive jump for everybody.
He really rewarded Scott's risk taking, I think, here. He could have
was a big risk.
Could have hated it. He could have said that sugar has no place on a Manhattan rim.
It shouldn't work.
Right. And he could have done that, but he saw what you were trying to go for. And
You
that's
shot
great.
your shot, and it worked out.
All right. Let's do our whiskey.
Our Quizkey,
rather.
round 2 Quizkey.
Yeah. Question 1. The gin and tonic is maybe the first mixed drink combined together by the humble soldiers of the East India Trading Company with a combination of their rations and other things that they added in. Which of these elements of the gin and tonic was not a ration? A, gin. B, tonic. C, lime. Or D, none of the above.
Wait, what? Originally.
So we have Siobhan Stockay.
That's it.
Yeah, they were all rations for them. It was D.
D is incorrect.
Fuck.
Gabe.
Gin?
A is incorrect.
I'm going to guess lime.
Lime is correct.
Yeah.
How is that? They're called limeys.
Yes. So, a bit of history. Both the gin and the tonic were rations. Gin because they're English. Tonic because it has the ingredient quinine, which protects against
That's
malaria,
why I knew that. So
which is very
I thought
prominent.
limes were. That's what got me wrong.
However, limes are native to India. And so, being given 2 rather horribly tasting ingredients at the time, they used some local fruit in order to add another element. It's typically referred to as a mixed drink and not a cocktail, but it does have some cocktail elements from the bitterness and the sweetness to some degree of the quinine tonic, and then also some acidity as well.
Interesting. So there's a difference between a mixed drink and a cocktail?
Yes, a cocktail has a formula to it. A mixed drink does not.
I see.
Okay. Question 2. Which of these phrases, often found in the naming of cocktails, describes a drink with a full egg? Is it A, flip, B, a flop, C, a sour, or D, a fizz? Gabe.
A flip.
Flip is correct.
Damn it.
Yep.
All right. Question 3. Yeah. Circling back to our conversation earlier with the G&T, cocktails require 3 elements. 1 being a boozy base spirit, 1 being an element of sweetness, and 1 being an acidic element, or A, a lipid or fatty element, B, a saline or salty element, C, an alkaline or bitter element, or D, a tannic element. Scott.
C, alkaline or bitter.
C is correct.
How close was I to getting in there? Because that was my answer, goddammit. I knew that.
You were second.
Oh, you and your quick digits. Damn it.
Shall we continue?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Question number 4. Little Arnold
I
for
knew
you.
you guys were waiting for that. Right.
Definitely Arnold. Cut to the chop up.
In David Wondrich's modern classic cocktail book, Imbibe, is a salute to which historic bartender? A. Harry Craddock of the Savoy Cocktail Bar. B. Jerry Thomas, the American bartender. C. Trader Vic Victor Bergeron. Or D. Tom Collins. Scott.
I'm going with B, Jerry Thomas.
Yes!
Fuck, I couldn't get in. Will I second? God damn it.
You're just grasping at
Oh,
straws.
yes, you were second.
No, Jerry Thomas is the only one I remember from my research about cocktails.
You bitch.
So,
Yes.
question number 5. The idiom "the real McCoy" is in reference to Bill McCoy, who was a smuggler from the 20s who provided illegal liqueur during Prohibition in New York City. What was Bill McCoy known for smuggling? A. Whiskey from Tennessee. B. Gin from Great Britain. C. Whiskey from Canada. Or D. Rum from the Caribbean. Gabe.
I'm going to go rum.
Rum is correct.
Fuck, I talked myself out of it because New York's so fucking north.
Hey, into round 2. The scores are.
I didn't come close to getting anything right, so cunt.
Oh my God.
Potty mouth.
Wow.
All right. Ed with 150. Gabe, 400 and 425 overall. And Scott, 450 plus 25 from round 1.
Got you. Total 475.
Nice round, Scott.
Thank you, Ed.
Excellent work.
Stop staring at me like you want to stab my mother.
Back in time before you were born.
So we're going to take a break now and set up for round 3, the wild card round, in which the 3 of us are going to make our cocktails in front of Anders. Very frightening. We'll be right back. Round 3.
All right, so we're back now to do our specialty cocktails for Anders. Gabe's going to go first, and I'm going to turn it over to him so he can take away and make his drink.
I looked in the Mr. Boston book. I looked online for different things, and it seemed like a lot of whiskey drinks, basic variations of Manhattans or sours. Just nothing really was distinctive. So I found this drink in the Mr. Boston book. It's called the Fox River Cocktail. What it entails is it's 1 tablespoon of creme de cacao, 2 ounces of blended whiskey, which I am going to tweak just a bit. I'm going to use a mix of Corsair Dark Rye, which is we've talked about before, which has the chocolate malt, and I'm going to incorporate a little bit of Screwball in there, peanut butter whiskey, just to give it a little bit of a kick to it.
Sort of like a Reese's sort of thing going on. Nice.
And with that, I got some bitters, some Hershey's dark chocolate syrup, to rim the glass. And along with that, I'm going to use a little bit of cinnamon powder on top of the chocolate rimmed glass.
Is it meant to be like a dessert after dinner drink?
I think it's more, more of a
Breakfast, like for me? Breakfast?
Breakfast, good for you. Breakfast.
It's more of a sweet drink. It's more of chocolate, obviously, with cinnamon, but the whiskey comes through. It doesn't get diminished with every other strong taste of this drink.
Cool.
So I'm going to put it together, and you guys can talk amongst yourselves.
Sure, I can't wait.
Please continue to talk about what you're doing when you do it.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
It's a radio show.
well, since I'm making one for everybody,
I can tell. What are you pouring in there?
this is creme de cacao, which is a mid-range chocolate taste. So that's going in.
He's doing this all into a tall cocktail shaker.
I'd like to use the dark one because they do have clear cream de cacao.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Next, I'm going to put the Corsair. I need about 4.5 for the 3 drinks. So
Looks like he's using a jigger.
I'm getting jiggy with it. Okay. And on top of that, we're going to do about 1.5 ounces of the Screwball.
This is to
Get
make 3 drinks.
A little bit of nutty flavor. If I can get the damn lid off. It's all sugary coated over because I haven't touched this shit in a while.
Is this still the same bottle we did on the short like a year and a half ago?
Maybe. With the chocolate and the cinnamon, I'm going to put a piece of Hershey's Twizzlers as a little swizzle stick. So I would like you to taste the rim, but also if you want to add a little bit to it, you can sip the drink through the licorice. Oh, and I need to throw some bitters in there. Angostura bitters. All right, now we're going to let that sit, and I'll shake it up, and then
Shake it up.
let it chill. I'll get the glasses prepped, and you guys will be...
We'll be amazed.
You'll be razzle-dazzle.
I'm actually really excited to try this.
It's actually a hell of a drink.
Yeah.
A lot of work involved.
I mean, I love chocolate. I think the cinnamon is a nice touch.
So Gabe is making chocolate cinnamon rims right now using the chocolate syrup, then clanging you hear as he hits it on the plate.
Yeah.
Glass on glass. And so the rims look amazing, and now he's going to make the drinks.
All right, I'm going to put a little Hershey's licorice. Put the longer one in there. Nobody likes a short one in their mouth.
Oh, my God.
Jesus.
Wow.
I believe that's everything.
It's also true.
I prefer the bigger chocolate.
Yeah.
All right.
Perfect.
So now I'm going to hand them over and let the magic begin.
All right.
Let me ask you a question, Anders. Is this something you have come across?
No, it's not actually.
Oh, we have stumped the mixologist.
There was a guy who came in yesterday that was trying to stump me, and he failed. So he came in, ordered a penicillin. I made him one, and then he was like, "Well, can I have a 20th century?" And then I was like, "Okay, sure." And then he was like, "Can I have a Hemingway daiquiri?" And I was like, "Okay, sure." And then he was like, "Can I have a last word?" No, okay, sure. And then he was surprised that his bill was at least $48 in this.
Well, yeah. I mean,
No, it's a bargain. 4 high-end cocktails, yeah.
that's true.
Okay, so you've told us about this drink, Gabe. I think it's a beautiful drink. This actually is really reminiscent of Scott's drink in the previous round, where you swung for the fences, and it actually worked out really well in your favor. So for the X Factor, I gave you an 8. I was really impressed with it. I also gave you an 8 for the presentation, the appearance as well. I think it's really elegant without ice in the rocks glass with the rim. You did an excellent job in the rim.
Thank you.
I think that the Twizzler is unnecessary.
I might have to agree with you there.
I like it. It's nostalgic. I immediately thought of this memory where, like, I was sipping hot chocolate with my high school girlfriend out of a Twizzler.
Oh,
That's a good association that you want to have when you're sipping on a
when you're
cocktail.
sipping drinks, yeah.
I gave you a 6 on the nose. The nose is a little bit loud with everything going on, which is hard to control. But in terms of the palate, I gave you a 7. It's a really good tasting drink. It's really well balanced. I think you're absolutely correct where I was really worried that it was going to get washed out with the 2 whiskeys that you used, both the Screwball and then the Dark Rye, but they work really well in concert. I think you used the same ratios I would have used in the drink as well. So I was really impressed by this.
thank you.
Maybe adding salt to the rim as well as an extra ingredient might be a really fun way. With cinnamon, salt, chocolate, take out the Twizzler. It'll actually give a visual pop if you use like really big flaky salt as well
Like
on
sea
top
salt,
of that.
yeah.
And then
like a
add a
nice-
briny element where it's like salted chocolate with
why he's
peanut
the
butter as
master.
well.
I also toyed with the idea of maybe doing half chocolate, half honey with the cinnamon and maybe some crushed graham crackers.
Oh,
That could also be an element as well.
That's interesting.
Maybe some liquid caramel
Possibly.
with the salt.
I think it'd go in
That's a
like a
great
caramel
compliment.
direction, but honestly, I would just like to try it as well with just like a salt element with the cinnamon and the chocolate. I think that would add like just the right touch. You can always add more, you can't take away. So I like to go one step at a time. But I think this is a beautiful expression of it.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you very much.
What was the overall
Great job.
score?
overall score was a 74.
All right. Thank you.
awesome.
Thank you, Master.
All right, so me and Gabe are going to switch places, and I'm going to do my specialty drink.
Yeah.
So I'm making a great drink for this summer called A Place in the Sun.
Oh,
What this will involve for each individual drink will be an ounce of fresh lemon juice, an ounce of fresh orange juice, just squeezed by me.
okay.
I'm using 2 ounces of Barrel Dovetail, which is a very complex whiskey that I think I need to hold up because the specialty of this drink is a red wine cordial that I made, which is simmered on the stove.
Wow.
Basically a bottle of Shiraz, red wine, or any other bright, juicy red wine you want to use. A cup of orange juice, 2 cinnamon sticks, half a cup of sweet vermouth. I used 1/3 of a cup of grenadine, and then put a little bit of simple syrup in it and a little bit of more citrus in it while I was simmering it on the stove for about 30 minutes. Combined all the ingredients up. That'll be added to the cocktail after it's made. So I'm going to add in the juice
An ounce of each.
because I'm making 2 drinks.
A little orange and lemon.
And what kind of barrel spirit is that again?
This is the Dovetail.
Dovetail.
It's one of their recurring. It's 124 proof.
Wow.
So you pour the drinks out, and the drink's pretty good on its own, but when you add the cordial, it really says summer to me.
And how much of the cordial are you adding?
Just under a 1/4 cup of it on top.
Oh, all right.
About 3 ounces of it.
That's quite a bit.
That's why I feel like you need the
The higher proof, right?
higher proof.
Sure.
Gotcha.
Wow.
And the goal is to let the heavier
Yeah.
red wine cordial get to the bottom.
I see that. It's almost layered.
Oh, that's pretty. That's nice looking.
It's giving me like a sangria vibe,
I was just going to say that, yeah.
but more citrusy than a traditional sangria might be.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see you thinking it's a summer drink. It's refreshing.
Definitely.
Something that you might, not that you probably should, but something you might just want to guzzle down.
It sneaks up on you.
I bet.
I also added a globe to this one because I wanted it to stay cold, but not dilute quickly.
Yes.
I felt like this drink will not be as good warm as it is cold.
So, Ed,
Here we go.
I thoroughly enjoyed this drink. For the presentation, I gave you an 8. I thought it was a very elegant presentation. For the nose, I gave it a 7. I thought it was a brilliant nose from the cordial. This cordial that you did, it's marvelous work.
Thank you.
Excellent work. I feel that it gets a little washed out from the citrus. But that being said, the spices still read through and it's still very present. So I really enjoyed that nose. I feel that also holds over on the actual palate of the drink as well. You could taper back by like a quarter or half an ounce, depending on how the drink reads through, for both the lemon and the orange juice as well.
The cordial's strong enough it doesn't need the additional citrus, you're saying?
I would feature the cordial because you put so much work into it.
Yeah.
And give the other citrus a little bit of a back note. It can still be there and present. You don't have to take anything out, but it's really just the ratios. And what's more, I feel like it also diminishes the dovetail as well. And especially when you're using something that's very high quality and complex, you want to highlight that.
I concur. Yeah.
In terms of making the components, I would go dovetail and then the cordial and then the orange and then the lemon. The lemon should take a bit of a back note because the orange has some acidity as well.
Right.
But I really like everything that you did. I gave you a 9 in terms of the X factor. In terms of the palate, I gave you a 6. So overall, Ed, for the A Place in the Sun, I give you a 70.
Thanks, Anders.
So some things that I would probably play with in terms of making this drink, I would maybe reduce the cordial, add a little bit more density to it, so it really falls kind of to the bottom and almost have it as a bottom layer. So it's closer to almost like a
Would you put this in before the cocktail? Would you put the cordial in first?
Possibly, yeah. Almost doing like a red wine reduction, something like that.
Yeah, maybe you could
like
simmer it longer, simmer more of the water out of it and make it a thicker, almost like a syrup.
That's interesting.
Bring the weight up to it.
You could play with the ratios of the lemon and the orange. There's something here. This is a drink that I'm excited to like keep playing with on my own and try it again. And I encourage you to do the same.
It was exciting to create and make, and I appreciate the opportunity and thanks for the feedback. And I think that, I'm going to make this for people in the summer, and they're going to be like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
All right, Scott's going to do his specialty cocktail, and Anders will have one more drink to drink and one more drink to critique.
So, like I said, my theme throughout the night is spice. So the first cocktail was ginger spice, not the Spice Girls ginger spice. Wasn't she married to?
No.
I'll just cut that. So spice. My second one was cinnamon. My third one is going to be jalapeno. Because, like I said, in my cuisine, when I like to make food, I like to make it spicy. Now, I used jalapeno because it's pretty mild as spices go.
Yes.
And I didn't want something like assault your nose and senses and everything.
Right.
So I chose jalapeno. I made a jalapeno syrup, like I made with the other syrups.
You like your syrups.
I did. I made so many syrups.
I do too.
The whole house smelled like sweet cinnamon, ginger, jalapeno. It was great. But the whole inspiration for the drink was I wanted to go outside of my comfort zone. I looked up Scotch cocktails and I ran into the Rusty Nail, which is a very simple Scotch cocktail. It's just Scotch and Drambuie. And Drambuie has Scotch in it, but it's also like a liqueur, spicy.
Honey and spices and
stuff
stuff like that.
Scotland's version of their terroir, right?
Yes.
So I had this barrel American vatted malt that we did on our American single malt episode. So I thought, this might be an interesting substitute for the Scotch. But because it's American, I didn't want to do like a Drambuie I don't know, are there any American liqueurs? I don't really think there are.
I can give you some names.
Oh, you could probably.
I can name some names.
So I started thinking about the American Southwest, because this is a Western thing. It started on Oregon coast.
Yes.
But then I started going to South, and I know that Santa Fe Spirits has a spirit in this particular whiskey that they mixed in there. Barrel people did, because they're magicians down there. And so I started thinking about the cuisine of the Southwest. That's where the jalapeno came in mind. And then lime. And I'm going to have just a dash of Angostura bitters, just to cut a bit of the sweetness out. There's plenty of lime juice in it, but I think it needs it. So basically, I have 2 ounces of barrel American vatted single malt.
What's the proof on that?
117.5.
Okay. Got some kick to it.
3/4 of an ounce of lime juice, 3/4 of an ounce of the jalapeno syrup, and a dash of Angostura bitters. I'm going to put some of the jalapeno in the shaker. When I shake it, that'll be nice.
You got some seeds floating around in there?
Yep, got some seeds in there.
That'll make a big difference right there.
Pepper.
Get a couple in that drink.
Hopefully they won't make it into Honor's drink. Sorry. Oh, I have to shake it. I stirred it, but I actually want to shake it. Because it has lime juice in it.
It sometimes gets a little froth on it.
Little head.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
It's a gorgeous color.
Wow. Nice.
And then to garnish, a little bit of the jalapeno.
Whatever you do, don't scratch your eye right now. He's got nothing but lime juice and jalapeno juice on his fingers right now.
So
Right, and then the lime.
I've been there, and I can concur with that. It's not pleasant.
one of my regulars over at the local farms his own chilies, and he gave me some ghost peppers and scotch bonnets to play around with. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, Scott. And I did a ghost pepper bitters. And I have on the bottle of ghost pepper bitters, wash your hands after touching or opening.
Oh, yeah.
Just for that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, you can taste the jalapeno in the scent in the nosing.
For the love of God.
Wow. Did you drink it?
It tastes every bit of a 69 to me.
I'll give you a 69.
That is way different than anything else.
That's what your mother said, Trebek.
Yeah, you definitely got a Southwest kick in this thing. With the citrus.
What would this be like with
the
tequila,
jalapeno.
bro?
Mm-hmm.
It would work.
It would
Definitely work.
Hell yeah, it would work.
So when I was making it, I thought, wow, this tastes a bit like a tequila drink. Mm-hmm. Also, I wanted to say, since this was sort of an American Southwest riff on a rusty nail, I named it Clavo Oxidado, which is rusty nail in Spanish.
You really went out on a limb.
I did.
Yeah, this would definitely pair with a nice plate of nachos. Fresh out of the oven with some jalapeno pepper jack cheese.
Yeah. Guacamole dip.
Yeah.
Dip my balls in it.
Jesus.
I don't know if anybody's ever heard this, but there was like an internet thing going on for a while. Apparently, if you dip your balls in soy sauce, you can taste it.
I know. I heard that too. We have soy sauce here.
We
can try
do,
it
yeah.
later.
We got sushi.
Maybe next time.
Okay.
All right.
All right, here we go.
Anders
Here
has
we go. It's so
made
excited.
his
The
determination.
moment of truth.
All right. I really like this drink. I like the use of the jalapeno syrup. I feel like having that balance is definitely a way that you want to go rather than both muddling, which can have some bitter notes to it. I
yeah.
like the addition of the Angostura bitters as well. Along with the lime, I feel like you could have gone a little bit less lime and a little bit more Angostura bitters.
Oh, okay.
All in all, this is a lovely drink. I gave it a 7 in terms of appearance. I like it in a rocks glass. I like both the jalapeno and the lime as well. If you want to get really fancy, if I was serving this, I could maybe like use some cayenne and like do a candied cayenne lime, like either as a float or on the rim.
Okay.
To have those like spicy notes in lieu of the jalapeno. I like the use of both of them, but there's also something a little bit distracting about it as well.
Okay.
But it definitely does catch the eye, and it's got this beautiful sandy color. When we first started sipping on it, it has a beautiful rim to it as well. It's super crushable. Like I could have like 6 of these and be a happy little clam.
I know. And you might get in trouble because it's 117.5 proof.
Right?
My esophagus would burn out if I drank 6 of these.
Yeah.
A glass of water on the side, you know. It's ensuring that you drink a gallon of water a day.
Yeah, that's true.
In terms of the nose, again, it reads through beautifully. You have this wonderful nose. You get the citrus and the jalapeno. I gave you a 7. I love that you did a 4-ingredient drink, essentially. Similar to Ed, I gave you a 6 in terms of the palate. I think the lime is a bit too much, and I want a little bit more depth there to let the barrel shine.
Okay.
You could do a couple more dashes of bitters and take away a 1/4 ounce or a 1/2 ounce of lime.
Right.
It'll still have that tang from the lime, but I think that would give it a little bit more depth. And I gave you a 7 for the X Factor.
Okay.
So, all in all, for this round, 66.
Damn.
Overall, between the three drinks, Gabe, you've got a 200. Scott, you finished in second place with a 211. And Ed, you finished in first with a 215.
Wow.
Close.
That was a really tight race.
Close.
Like, that's fucking nothing. That's like 5 points between rounds, which is...
Right, so it's nothing, so I actually won.
Well, I mean, Scott, you deserve credit for creativity.
Absolutely.
This last drink to me, though, did not taste like a whiskey drink. It tasted like the best tequila drink I ever had. And had you put an aged añejo in there, I think it would be a home run drink. I think that the Gypsy Bar and the Borgata should feature it. And the time you put the syrups in today, all of us did a lot of work.
Yeah.
Everyone did.
Yeah.
I am so impressed with you. You guys are so good at this.
So did Gabe win the last round?
Gabe won the last round. Gabe got a 74.
So that's great. That I'm really proud of all of us for showing up and taking a round. That's great.
we all took a different path to that last round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I want to thank Anders for all his hard work and critiques tonight as we go into the last round of Quizkey.
Round 3. All right. So we have question 1. Which of these is not the name of a type of cocktail strainer? A, tea strainer. B, julep strainer. C, Boston strainer. D, Hawthorne strainer. Gabe.
C, Boston strainer.
C is correct.
God damn it. That's what I was going to say.
Here we go.
Question 2. In his book, Liquid Intelligence, David Arnold recommends several chemistry tools for bartending. Which of these chemistry tools does he not recommend?
God.
A, a refractometer. B, a Bunsen burner. C, a centrifuge. D, a rotary evaporator. Ed.
A.
Refractometer is incorrect. Gabe.
D.
A rotary evaporator is incorrect.
I don't think I want to answer. Because if I get it wrong, then I get minus points.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to answer.
No.
Strategy, I'm not answering.
All right.
Say what the answer is.
So it's a Bunsen burner.
Oh, God damn it. I was going to say Bunsen burner.
Well, you done fucked up.
No, I did.
All right. Question number 3.
The last question.
The last question before our final round. Which of these bars do not have a cocktail named for them? A, the Peychaud Club. B, the Clover Club. C, the Hotel Nacional. D, the Hotel Monteleone. Ed.
A.
The Peychaud Club is incorrect. Gabe.
B.
The Clover Club is incorrect.
That one was way too obvious. I knew that couldn't be it. So it's one of the fucking... He made up a fucking fancy hotel. God damn it.
I love that drink.
Fuck.
Scott.
I'm going to refuse to answer again.
God
You
damn
are
it.
so weak.
I was going to pick either the Peychaud or the Clover Club.
I thought the other ones just sounded too legit.
Yeah.
And he had the same with a little flair to him.
So which one was it?
It is D, the Hotel Monteleone,
gonna
which
go
is home of the previously referenced on the podcast Carousel Bar
Oh, right.
in New Orleans.
That makes the Vieux Carré.
Correct.
Damn it.
All right. Final round.
Literally did not score points since round 1, like I said was going to happen.
I didn't score either. Gabe scored 300.
All right. So
Punch Gabe in the face.
Gabe is in the lead with 725 overall, followed by Scott at 475 and Ed with 150. The seminal classic, the Savoy Cocktail Book, has a cavalcade of recipes.
Okay.
More recipes than any cocktail book I've actually read.
Okay.
How many
Oh my God.
cocktail recipes does the Savoy Cocktail Book have? And whoever is closest without going over.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. This is just a stab in the dark.
Scott's answer is submitted. Gabe's is submitted.
It could be 80 or 800. I have no idea how much it is.
Who the fuck knows, really? Oh, wait, I do. So, Ed has submitted 326 recipes. Incorrect. Scott? Scott has said 289 recipes. which is incorrect.
As we knew it would be.
We're pretty close, though. I mean,
Yeah.
That's impressively close.
Gabe has submitted 2,750 recipes.
Whoa.
Which is incorrect.
Right. What is the actual number of recipes?
750. Gabe is 2,000 over. Precisely 2,000 over. Ed bet all his 150 points in a deft move.
Right.
Scott, you bet 0 points. And Gabe, you bet 0 points.
Damn it.
And Gabe is the victor for the quiz key, 725.
So compliments to Scott, Gabe, and me for our efforts today. It was a labor of love for all of us. And God, it showed me what we could do and showed me how much we have to learn about the chemistry involved in cocktails when you get outside your comfort zone. And anybody, Gabe, anything?
This was a great amount of fun tonight. All the trash talking, texting we've been doing over the week. Just really, taking lowbrow jabs at each other. And
I've been a little overboard this morning. I was in the gym listening to Tool.
Well, we all can take each other's, attempts at getting under each other's skin. And we know it's not serious and we all love each other.
It's all good fun. Honestly,
was,
this was amazing. I have a lot of work ahead of me in terms of editing, but the fact that we were all able to come up with 9 cocktails and none of them were like, oh my God, what did you do here? Like they all had something
and they
special.
Weren't really similar.
And they weren't really similar to them.
I think Gabe's and my Manhattan were the most similar to, and they were completely different.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody did an absolutely marvelous job. You all knocked it out of the park. You should all be very proud of yourselves. I'm very impressed with everything.
Thank you, Master.
Thank you.
Enjoy making cocktails this summer.
Yeah, make all of these.
all these. I mean, in the summer, the winter, the fall, we've got you all covered.
Yep.
So for the Whiskey Tangent podcast, I'm Ed.
I'm Scott.
I'm Gabe.
And I'm Anders.
Cheers, everybody.
Later.
If you enjoyed this podcast episode, be sure to check out our next episode, which is way better than this one.
Oh, yeah.
Also, follow and like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Whiskey Tangent. And follow us on Twitter at Whiskey Tangent. You can follow me personally at That Whiskey Guy. And follow Scott at Giant Cup of Awesome, spelled AWSUM, just to be annoying.
Hey.
You can email us any questions, comments, or love at whiskeytangent@gmail.com. And of course, you can find us always at our podcast website, whiskeytangent.podbean.com.